Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are all doing well. In this video, I'm going to tell you guys why Mason Mount is a perfect signing for Manchester United. And we'll also give you a little bit of an update on just what is going on with Mason Mount and his potential move to Manchester United. Before we get stuck into that, do me a big old favour and make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. We want to hit 150,000 subscribers ASAP, and I can only do that with your help. So make sure you're hitting that subscribe button right now and go on, like the video too while you're at it. Anyway, I told you I was going to tell you why I think Mason Mount is the perfect signing for Manchester United. Now, if you don't know, at the moment, Manchester United are being highly linked with Mason Mount. Those links are coming thick and fast, so much so that when he was at the F1 at the weekend, he was asked on the track by Martin Brundle whether he was joining Manchester United. And that question was prompted by his Chelsea teammate Ben Chilwell, who was cheekily saying, he's going to Manchester United, get onto him. And that comes after weeks and weeks of transfer rumours. Now, he was obviously linked to Liverpool in January. And even then, I remember saying it on the club, I think that would be a very good signing for Liverpool. They were being linked with Jude Bellingham and all these different players. But Mason Mount coming in at Liverpool would have been a very good signing. And I still think that's the case for Manchester United. He's obviously got 1 year left on his contract. Now, Chelsea are currently, according to reports, demanding between 70, 75 million pounds for this player. They're not going to get that transfer fee. I keep seeing Manchester United fans going, 70 million pounds for Mason Mount. That is ridiculous. Why are we doing this, that and the other? Chelsea are never going to get 70, 75 million pounds for a player that wants to leave. They developed through the academy, so they didn't, pay much for him, if anything for him. And of course, he wants to get out of there. He's got a year on his contract. So you're pretty much left in a difficult position where you have to let him go, because from January, he can just start discussing potential free moves with other clubs. Chelsea also have the issue with financial fair play. By now and the end of June, they need to bring in some transfer funds, so Manchester United can use that to their advantage as well. Manchester United will not end up paying £70 million for Mason Mount. The fee will probably come in at around £40, £50 million, which, is reasonable for a player of Mason Mount's quality. And I'll tell you why I think that is, and why I think Mason Mount could be the perfect signing for Manchester United. First up, you look at his flexibility. Now, whether he's starting in a game or coming off the bench, and I think he could be in a position where he could be doing both for Manchester United. When you add him to the likes of Casemiro, Christian Eriksen, Bruno Fernandes, etc., Mason Mount is giving you a player that can play in a number of those positions in that midfield position. 6, 8, 10. He can play in all of those positions. He can also occupy a position wide out on the left if we ever need him to. Now, obviously, you've got the likes of Alejandro Garnacho, Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, who can all play in those wider positions. So Mason Mount will probably not have to play there much, which will suit him because he's on record as saying his preferred position is a number 8. But because he's so tactically flexible and he's so flexible in his positioning, he can play in all those other positions. And I think for a coach like Erik Ten Hags, who will tinker with his formations, tinker with his tactics, to go up against different opposition, I think Mason Mount can be huge for that. Alongside that flexibility, you also get squad depth because you've got a player that can fill in either of those positions. I also think with someone like Christian Eriksen and with Bruno Fernandes, maybe less so with Bruno Fernandes and more so with Christian Eriksen, they can't play every single week. They can't play 50, 60, 70 games every single season. You're going to see a negative effect of that. And I think you'd see a much better Christian Eriksen if he wasn't starting every game and wasn't expected to start every game and had someone like Mason Mount challenging him as well. So I think, again, in terms of that squad depth for the players that we already have there, I think he's excellent. But also, he's someone that could potentially grab one of those starting spots as well, alongside Bruno Fernandes. I think in terms of his pressing ability as well, whether it's offensively, in terms of in attack, closing down the lines, getting onto defenders and midfielders, winning the ball back, or in terms of, that's defensively. In terms of defensively, closing those gaps down. But then offensively as well, in attack, I think he's very good at the press, beating the press as well. When opposition teams are going to be pressing against us, I think with his ability to move left, right, turn around, go back, flick passes in and out, I think he's very good at beating press. and beating the press of very good teams. You've seen him in Europe. You've seen him in all these different competitions doing really well at international level and at club level. And again, I think he'd be very good in terms of that. His tactical intelligence as well, I think, is a player highly suited to what Erik Ten Hag will want to do at the club. I don't see many negatives with this signing. Obviously, you have a player that could probably flatter to deceive a little bit, or maybe you see a little bit more of the form you've seen in the last 12 months at Chelsea, and it's a failure. But I still think you recoup most of your fee. I still think at the age that is at, there's not much of a downside in terms of that. And I genuinely believe with the right coach behind him, we saw Marcus Rashford have a very difficult season in that Rangnick season. And I remember saying at the time, it's an anomaly. We've seen this player get 20 plus goals in all these different campaigns. This is an anomaly. He'll be back to winning ways. Erik Ten Hag gets stuck into him, and look at him, 30 goals this season. I think, again, your man Mason Mount can really, really benefit from a coach like Erik Ten Hag and from having that consistency and that settled manager with their arm around them. So Mason Mount, for me, I think is a very, very Erik Ten Hag player in that regard. He's young, again, homegrown talent, so we'll tick those boxes in terms of in your squad. He's the right age profile. He's got experience as well. As I said, Champions League winner. He's played at a high level internationally. He's one of those players that have been trusted by Gareth Southgate. And in terms of the Premier League, he's obviously very, very experienced in there. I think in this market, even with a year on his deal, like I said, I don't think Chelsea are going to get that £70 million that they're after. I think it will be in and around that £40 to £50 million mark, probably with add-ons and bonuses and things like that. And if that's the case, I think that's a bargain in this market. You've got to think of some of the players that have gone for a £40-50 million fee. Not very good players. I think Mason Mount ticks a lot of the boxes that Manchester United want. Hard working as well. So when the manager wants something from him, I think he's someone that's going to deliver on the training pitch, raise those levels on the training pitch as well. He'll embed himself into the squad quite well. I can't see him being an issue there. And as I've said before, his experience for his age. So those are all the reasons why I think Mason Mount could be a very, very good signing for Manchester United. Maybe one of the perfect signings in terms of, if we can get like a Declan Rice, Caicedo, Frankie de Jong shaped player and a Mason Mount. If you get rid of, in that process, McTominay, Fred maybe, your midfield is looking golden. Your midfield has gone up massive levels. So I think this could be a huge signing for Manchester United and could be a very, very good one. I've seen a lot of negativity around about it. That's why I thought I'd do this video. But let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Maybe you're still negative about it. Maybe I haven't changed your ways or your thoughts on it. Let us know in those comments below. Make sure you subscribe and like and comment sharing as well. And I'll be back very, very soon. See you in a bit.